What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripes show. We're brought to you by Shady Rays, an amazing sunglasses company. Go get a pair for yourself by going to shadyrays.com and using our code Bronx for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized lenses. I did that from memory. I didn't even have to look at the script this time, Scott. How you doing? Sunday evening, early evening. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
I have a bone to pick with you, Scott.
Oh, just one?
For today. You did not warn me about how fucking annoying Mother's Day is when you are a parent.
Oh, yeah. It's really, what would me have warning you
I don't
done?
know. I don't know.
Wouldn't have done
changed
anything.
But
no,
just
yeah,
like...
You just have to, you do everything, apparently. Like, that's the thing. And then...
No, I don't even care about that. Like, I don't mind doing things. It's
Mhm.
the pressure that Leanne, I don't know if, not everyone's like Leanne, but that Leanne puts on herself to make it such an amazing day. It's like, you are almost 9 months pregnant and we've got a toddler. It's not going to be a relaxing, amazing day. It's going to be a shit show of a Sunday, just like last Sunday was. How about you just accept that, even though it is Mother's Day, and I got you some flowers, and I got you a nice gift, and we're going to go have brunch at your mom's house. Let's just try and enjoy the day. Let's not make it so too much pressure and have a freaking meltdown and cause me to have some added stress. And then the Yankees can't even close out and win 3 out of 4, even though they could have. Anyway, hi.
It's still Mother's Day.
But I'm in the basement. She's upstairs. She can't hear me, and she hasn't listened to my podcast in 6 years.
I would say that, mine's a little different, I guess. Mine's a little different. There's the pressure to do much, not really there. But Bevan was also coming back from our nephew's graduation down in Nashville, and was on a long car ride with their family. So it was kind of a low key day, but popped around a bit. Had to pick up a car that was left at an airport, just a bunch of stuff like that. So it was kind of an exhausting day, but just had to do a bunch of stuff. So no pressure though. We don't need pressure on any days.
Pressure is a privilege, a wise man once said.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what this series reminded me of? Do you remember that 4-game wild-ass series against Houston last year at the stadium where the Yankees got no hit for like a game and a half, but they also had a couple of wild comebacks? Like this was just, other than Thursday in which they got spanked, like these last 3 days were just roller coaster
mentally exhausting.
Yeah. But then it's like it all comes out in the wash, and you're sitting here 5:30 on Sunday, and the Yankees split.
Right. It's like none of it happened. When you go through a series like that, because the Yankees had multiple opportunities to win the games, lose the games, fall down, completely bow out, and then they showed a lot of resilience, I thought, this over the weekend. But even on the loss, today on Sunday, there was resilience, I'd say. So mentally exhausting just because there was such a back and forth, and it was weird because both teams got to the bullpens, which usually, it's a strength of the Yankees. It's usually a strength of the Rays. And, you just don't see that as much. When the Rays bullpen comes in, it's usually a different story, but the Yankees had no issues with it. Really, really no issues with it at all. In fact, like when they were hoping the bullpen would come in so that they could score some runs, but it was kind of an ass backwards. It didn't feel like a Yankees-Rays. Whereas the first one were closer, tighter games. I think the first series was felt more like on par. This one was just a wild 4-game set.
Yeah, so many 1-run games against them, which you do expect against Tampa. You just expect it to be 4-3, and the bullpen's locking it down, and that's not what happened. I don't know. I was questioning. It's like maybe because they literally just saw them.
Yeah,
if that has a factor in it. But so many times the Yankees will play a series, not just against Tampa, against any division opponent, where you play them one weekend, you play one team for 3 games, and you come back and play them again. So that's not anything new. I agree with you. They did show resilience because you crushed Oakland last week like you're supposed to. And then Thursday, you get spanked. Like that was a complete no show for the Yankees. Just absolute terrible game. And then you're down on Friday, but you come back. You're down on Saturday big and you come back. And today you're down again and you almost come back. Now, you might be sitting there and you're like, well, you still split. So what does it all matter? But I agree with you. They did show resiliency. And I don't know what to make of that.
I mean, over the last month, the offense has been struggling big time, and even down in Tampa, they showed some. Really, when Judge came back too, they had the Oakland series. Obviously, the bats went ham. But what do you take away from that? It's a bad team. They did execute. They did the things. I was surprised on Thursday actually when Rasmussen, and the way that Michael Kay says Rasmussen, he says it's so strange. It can't be the real way you pronounce it. But they that series, I'm sorry, that matchup between Rasmussen and Herman, I was surprised that there wasn't more offense against those guys, because those two, I mean, it was literally just a do-over of what we had seen. Herman did have, a good start before, and then even this one, he was pitching well up until he got pulled. But I was surprised that there wasn't as much offense coming out of that, because it was a low scoring 0-0 game for a while, and coming out of that Oakland series, you're like, these guys are swinging the bats. Judge is back. You're feeling good, and they just completely came out. Both teams really came out flat to start it, and then obviously a bunch of runs were scored once Herman left the game. But that was one that I was expecting more offense from.
Well, Rasmussen has 12 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 13 strikeouts in his 2 starts against. He's on the IL now. They put him on the IL the next day. But I saw some stat that's like the first opposing pitcher to shut out the Yankees in back-to-back starts in some crazy amount of years. Yeah, right. There was a second guess. People were killing Boone for pulling Herman in the 6th with 87 pitches. He walked Walls. There were 2 outs in the inning, and then Marinaccio comes in. He had nothing. He allowed a single hit by pitch and a double, and that was it from there. Tampa was up 4-0. Yankees did nothing offensively until the 9th inning.
I'm not even killing Boone on that, because at that point, it did look like Herman was slowing down. The walk, 2 outs. You bring in Marinaccio, who should no problem be able to get out of that situation, and just didn't. It didn't work. That's I'm not even second guessing that, though. I had no problem with the poll.
Can we stop killing Boone for pulling Domingo Herman, or whoever, someone like Domingo Herman? It's like, really, the Yankees bullpen has been really good. Marinaccio had nothing, and then he got hit again in his next outing, and he pitched okay today. But like, Marinaccio has been good all season. You pulled Domingo Herman. You did not pull Gerrit Cole. You did not pull CC Sabathia. You did not pull Roger Cole. It's Domingo Herman we're talking about here. You pulled. Like, relax, everybody.
He's been the second best pitcher for the Yankees over a stretch.
Still, like, what are we talking about?
No, I know it's especially when you're bringing a guy that's done well and the bullpen's done well. So it was unfortunate the way that it worked, and then there was kind of a snowball effect. But that game itself, like, I thought the Yankees were going to come out and take that first game. I felt confident about it, and that was just probably a false confidence due from the Double-A team that we saw come in from Oakland, and they just trounced them. And I think that's all that was. That was just me being overconfident after, beating the crap out of a shitty team that has 9 wins on the season. So
exactly. Then you play a good team like Tampa, and it's wild back and forth, and you split. And Tampa's probably feeling okay with that split. I don't know if the Yankees are feeling okay with the split, but
that's a big deal for them too. Losing Rasmussen, I mean, he was pitching so freaking well. That guy's got really good stuff. And I didn't realize he threw as hard as he did. I don't remember him popping the glove like he did, but man, he was accurate. He's got pop. He's got a good mix of pitches. And yeah, the fact, I mean, they put him immediately on the 60-day DL, didn't they? So like, he's out for a while.
Flexor strain could be serious. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. But they'll call someone else up, throw 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, probably.
No, yeah, they've got an endless parade of pitching.
Horses, it's a stable.
It's a stable of horses. The next day, Cole, I was really looking to Cole for dominant performance, after his last start against Tampa and after the way Thursday went. I was like, okay, this is the game, Cole. Friday night, you nut up, you just shut the bats down. He was okay. His final line was 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 4 strikeouts, 2 home runs allowed. They were both solo shots. I pulled some numbers, which we were kind of talking through before we recorded. But let me just get through these numbers, and then you can say your piece. But so Cole, in his last 3 starts, over 16 innings, has allowed 18 hits, 9 runs, 18 strikeouts, 7 walks, 4 home runs allowed. That is just over 10 hits per nine, just over 10 strikeouts per nine, just under 4 walks per nine, which is alarming, and 2.3 home runs per 9 innings. Obviously, when you give up 4 home runs in 3 starts, it's going to look bad. Contrasting that to his first 6 starts when he was absolutely unhittable, 40 and 2/3 innings, only 23 hits, 5 earned runs, 44 strikeouts, 11 walks, 0 home runs. That is 5 hits per 9 innings, so double the hits per 9 innings. It is a 9.7 strikeouts, so he's actually striking out fewer per 9. 2.4 walks, so a walk and a half more per 9 innings, and then no home runs allowed. But so the hits and the walks, last 3 starts versus first 6 starts, have really gone up. Might just be a little blip. Might just be the 2 starts that were taken out of context versus Tampa. Tampa's obviously one of the best offensive teams in baseball this year, and Tampa is always going to be tough no matter, even when they're not one of the best offensive teams. I feel like they're just a good team, and they're just hard to pitch against. They're hard to play against. But the numbers last 3 starts for Cole have looked a little shaky.
Yeah, and the start in Cleveland didn't have his command as much, but still battled through, I think, him not having his best stuff. Whereas in Tampa, they made him pay for it. And again, like that first Tampa start, when you see, okay, solo shot, the first home run that he gave up of the year, which is impressive, doing it, second or first week of May. But it did snowball, and then he wasn't able to follow that up with a much better start. But that said, like, he didn't have his best stuff, and he did grind through. What did he throw? 5 innings in the last one?
Yeah, 5 innings.
Yeah.
What was his pitch count? Because one thing I've noticed, Logan, if you could actually look this up, his pitch count, his pitch count was higher for sure. Always climbing into the 90s and hundreds by the 5, which is why he's only going 5 1/3, 5 2/3 innings, is because he's at 100 pitches in that 5 innings versus 80 pitches through 5 innings.
You could see it written all over his face, frustration from not being able to command the fastball. You could see it clear as day watching him. The body language was saying it. He was trying to dot fastballs and he wasn't able to do it. So when you're, again, like I talk about this a lot, but fastball command to me is one of the most important pieces of any pitcher's day when he steps on the rubber. If you can't command your fastball, then you're going to have a really tough time getting guys out consistently and being able to go deep, because you're going to have to nibble around doing a whole bunch of stuff. And for him, everything runs off of his fastball. Like that's it. Everybody knows it. It's his fastball and his fastball command, and he just didn't have it. So it does look like it's more of a blip, just because of the way he's able to still finish. I still think he's throwing at a high level. He's just not able. He was just not able to locate that fastball as frequently and as consistently.
Andrew, you're definitely right. The last 2 games against Tampa, he threw 95 pitches exactly in each in 5 innings. And then he threw 108 pitches in that start against Cleveland in 6 innings. Now, if we contrast, he went 6 2/3 against Texas and only threw 92 pitches. He went 5 2/3 the game before that and only threw 96 pitches. Then he threw a complete game shutout at 109 pitches. So he was much more economical through all of his, obviously not that that's groundbreaking, but
and guys like Gerrit Cole they pitch to strike you out. So their pitch count naturally is just going to climb higher because they're not pitching for contact. They're pitching to strike you out. So you're going to
but it's not just that. It's more walks, more hits. He's actually striking out more as well over the last 3 starts versus his first 6 starts.
So when you add that to a guy like Gerrit Cole, who strikes out a lot of people, and then all of a sudden you're not locating your fastball as much, it's just it's a perfect recipe, the exact recipe for an increased pitch count and you running into trouble in the 5th or 6th inning.
He's pitching the second game against Toronto this week, right? He would line up for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Oh no, he'll pitch Wednesday against Toronto. Okay, yeah, and Toronto's obviously never an easy matchup for him.
Who's he pitching against? Do we know?
I don't think it's Manoah. I think Manoah is pitching.
Bassett.
Okay.
Who just threw a complete game shutout against the Braves yesterday, I believe.
Manoah's pitching, I think, Monday. So, yeah, another thing from this game, Volpe was dropped down to 6th in the batting order. He had hit leadoff from April 16th through May 11th, and over his last 4 games, he was really struggling. In 59 plate appearances, he was only hitting 158 with 2 walks and 15 strikeouts. His chase percentage outside of the strike zone went up to 32%, and his overall swing rate was 52%. Those were both above his season averages. And then I found this funny. So Boone was asked about it, and he attributed the decision to just guys coming back from injury, Bader and Judge. But Bader and Judge didn't hit leadoff, so it's like, why can't you just say like, yeah, he's going through a little bit of a tough spell. We're just moving him around. Just to, we have confidence in him, but we're just like, why does it always have to be just like smoke and mirrors? Like, why can't you just say anything honest?
I knew that was going to piss you off, and
it's so stupid. It's so stupid. It's like, dude, he's hitting 150 he looks terrible at the plate. He's dropped to 6. No one cares. Like, cool. We agree with the decision, and it lit a spark under his ass. He had a great weekend.
The same thing. You could say the same thing for when they moved him to lead off the first time. It lit a spark initially.
Sure. And every 15 days, move him in the back order.
Yeah, they moved him. Yes, he started playing well. Whether one thing is correlated or not, who the hell knows? But my God, is that kid up for a big at bat? I already feel very comfortable with him up in a big spot because he's got that little gene. He's got that gene of just like ice and doesn't matter. In fact, I think he actually gears up more for those moments and, for extra concentration or extra pressure on him. Like he gets up for that. I love it. Because all the other things are going to fall into place, but that kid has the little factor that you absolutely need to hit in big spots. And that's not going to go away anytime. And he's going to improve on everything else. So I love seeing that with a rookie.
Doesn't bother you that Boone just can't tell the truth?
Not anymore. No, because I told you this. I've told you this 100 times. 100 times. It's expectations. I expect him to lie to me. Okay. I expect him to say a bunch of bullshit that flies out of his mouth. So none of it's surprising to me.
He's protecting the player, right? Like that's why he does things like this. He protects the player.
Sure.
But
that's what it's called, I guess.
But I don't think Volpe needs protection. Like he doesn't strike me as someone
The guys aren't asking for protection from a manager. The manager just does it because that's what you're supposed to do.
So, Alex Cora, I remember, I think I talked to Chad Jennings about this because I've had Chad on a bunch of times to talk about the Red Sox. And he said that Alex Cora, depending on the player, he will act differently. He will protect him in the media or he will be honest with the media. And in the past, guys who have needed protection, he has done that for. But one guy he called out was Rafael Devers. And I think he called out Devers for like being a little overweight or something. Like literally, like this was like maybe 2 seasons ago. And he said he knew Rafael Devers could handle it. He knew he would have an honest conversation with it and they would move on from it. It's like, we always talk about, Alex Cora, like he seems like he's got a pulse on his clubhouse. He seems like a good manager.
He does.
And so I guess that is how I wish Boone would be able to operate. Like he was touted as the great communicator, Aaron Boone. Like you should be able to have honest relationships with your players and they should know, like, it's not you like airing them out or something. It's just like some guys can handle it. Whatever. This is probably unimportant. It's just I fucking hate
the conversations behind the scenes though are ones that matter between the player and the manager. And I promise you that the conversation with Volpe and Boone was probably very honest and a matter of what happened.
So then why not just be like, well, he ate some Chinese food last night, so he
likes to torture you, and I'm fine with that. I think it's okay.
I think it's personal.
Didn't he talk about today about the changeup? About he was crushing pitch selection at one point for Abreu.
Questioned it. He
that's selling your guy out into the media, is it not? There's your honesty. Okay, he's just not giving it to you all the time. Yeah, why not? He questioned an on-field decision that was made by a player to the media. That's calling a guy out. That's literally the definition of calling a guy out. He's got to be better.
Look into it. They've got to look into it. What happened there?
Well, he's got to be better.
Just closing the loop on Volpe here. So he ended up going 2 for 3, and his home run in the 5th inning was tied the game. Got the ball rolling. Yankees. This was a back and forth game late. So the Yankees took the 4-2 lead. Volpe and Cabrera had RBI singles. Oswaldo Cabrera also sneaky. I feel like hitting the ball. I think I looked up his last 7 games, over an 800 OPS in his last 7 games. Tampa then took the lead. Josh Lowe off Michael King, a 3-run shot. Michael King has just been perfect pretty much all season, and that was one of the first blips on the radar. And then the Yankees on Rizzo's 2-run home run came back. This was a massive win. This comeback win on Friday and the comeback win on Saturday, those did feel extremely important in the moment.
The fact that Rizzo's doing this on his Mandalorian bobblehead day, it was just.
Did you appreciate Cole? Yeah. Did you appreciate K's call? Just, this is the way. Probably had that written down for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they all did. It was everywhere. It was. I thought it was awesome. First of all, the bobblehead looks good. It did. It looked good. It was a cool looking bobblehead. So congratulations to everybody who's got one. That's a cool giveaway. And the fact that this man comes out and hits 2 home runs, wins the game with he's on that day is pretty awesome. But yeah, the fight back, like again, the games that they won, they got that 6-0 win back from Gerrit Cole when they were in Tampa, and they gave it back to the Rays. And they just kept fighting back, man. This is a different offense. It feels like a different offense than what we saw, because it is. There's guys back, but the way that they continue to compete and they continue to go out there and never say die. I love it. I love it. I wish there was one more win somewhere in this 4-game set that they could have gotten and taken 3 out of 4. But the other side of that is very true as well. They could have very easily lost 3 or 4 too.
It's actually over 1,000 OPS for Oswaldo Cabrera, because he did hit the home run today. So I think I was looking yesterday at his last 7 games. So he's finally starting to hit, because it just seemed like it wasn't going to happen, and we were excited to see him this year.
Yeah, and he's playing all over the place. Not playing great. Like, he's made errors, made another one. I'd like to see him more consistently in the outfield, especially with with Bader back now and Judge back. Let's get him just more consistent time. And I know Bowers is playing pretty well as well, so it's almost like you got to fit them both in.
Getting lead off.
I don't need IKF playing in the outfield as much. I just don't.
Yeah, well, so you've got Peraza and Donaldson coming back soon, and at that point,
well, Peraza coming back, who knows? He's not necessarily coming back. He was up because of injuries in the first place.
That's true. So when Donaldson comes back, they said at the end of the month, that's another infielder. So then IKF, the only place for him to play is the outfield.
Yeah, I guess so. Let me ask you a question. Hicks, nothing, right? We're just waiting on him. Why are we doing that?
Didn't he have an MRI on like Friday? And then we were supposed
why
to
are we
hear
playing a
something
man down because of Aaron Hicks?
Yeah, where is Aaron Hicks? He just kind of disappeared. I don't think they said anything. I don't think anybody cared enough to ask, to be honest.
No. There was a report on Friday that he was having an MRI and that they would know more afterwards, and then just nothing.
There were tests, lots of tests and nothing. So, but he has not been put on the IL, which means they are playing with him on the roster, but not available, which means you're playing man down because of Aaron Hicks. Just put him on the 60-day DL right now, please. Help us all out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're right, Logan. No one cared enough to ask. That's sad. Yeah, I don't know.
It just seems like
retroactive.
It's a
they're probably going
to retroactively, but they're still playing a man down because of that.
No, I know. But Peraza is eligible to come off the IL on Tuesday, so that's one more day. They're probably going to retroactive Hicks IL and then activate Peraza, and then when Donaldson's ready to come back in late May, they will send Peraza down and then maybe transfer Hicks to the 60-day IL, like you said. I have no clue why. Mental problems.
I'm just saying the retroactive IL stint only matters for people that we want back.
That's true.
So what's the point? What do we do?
They should
he's taking up a roster spot right now. Even more worthless than he was when he was playing. It's just I just don't understand. Let's manage this roster with some common sense, please.
When you Google Aaron Hicks hip injury, you just article 5 days ago. Like, there's just nothing. He's just been gone. He's in. Has anybody seen him like in the dugout or anything?
No.
They just playing a man down.
Mm-hmm. Playing a man down because
that is true. I mean, it's now a 25-man roster. Baseball played for 25-man rosters for 100 years. They can handle it. Anyway, before we get to Saturday's amazing comeback, I got to tell you guys about Shady Rays. Summer is right around the corner. It was a beautiful weekend this weekend in New York. If you're going to be outside, you're going to need a kick-ass pair of sunglasses. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that are just as good as any expensive pair you can find. They also have an amazing protection plan, which covers you if you break or lose your pair. No questions asked. They have over 200,000 five-star reviews for a reason. The glasses are lightweight and durable. They're built for outdoor activities. They have dozens of styles and color combos to choose from for both men and women. Mother's Day has passed, so you can't get a gift for Mother's Day anymore, but Father's Day is like a month away, so you can get a pair for your dad. Shady Rays is giving their best deal to our listeners. Go to shadyrays.com using promo code Bronx for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Check them out. You're going to love them. All right, so Nestor, we touched on this at the end of last episode, Scott, and we were confused by the numbers because basically the takeaway was like, well, the numbers are a little bit worse, but not so much worse where it should be resulting in the struggles that he's experiencing. But it was another bad start. And 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. He gave up the grand slam to Yandy Diaz. And if you want to talk about a second guess, leaving Nestor Cortes out there with the bases loaded to face Yandy Diaz when he clearly just has nothing in the tank anymore, that's a second guess. And he gives up the grand slam. His ERA is now ballooned to 5.53 for the season. And if you compare that to 251 innings pitched, dating back to 2021 to the end of last year, 2.6 ERA. So his ERA is more than double.
Double.
Yeah. The numbers are confusing, like I said. 2022, numbers on his fastball. 157 batting average, 184 expected batting average, 240 slugging. This year on his fastball, 253 batting average, so 100 points higher. However, a 197 expected batting average, almost in line with what it was last year, and a 418 slugging. So the slugging is also up significantly. But 418 slugging isn't bad for a pitch. Yeah, Logan?
So also the expected slugging is interesting because this year it's an expected slugging of 302. Last year it was 297 expected
basically
slugging. So
the
that's
same.
Basically the same.
Identical.
So talk to me like I'm stupid here.
Okay, that'll be easy.
The 253 batting average and the similar expected batting average. Why is that? Why is there such a significant difference between batting average, but the expecting batting average and slugging
shift?
are all?
Could it be the shift?
I mean, obviously there's something there with that. That's it. There's a huge delta between the two of them.
Okay, so expected batting average is on StatCast data. And what StatCast data is doing is it's taking similarly hit balls and finding the batting averages on those. And it's like, okay, the average ball hit with this exact launch angle and exit velocity has this batting average. And over the past however many years of StatCast, dating back to 2015, there's been shifts. Now there's no shift. So how is StatCast? This is just a question I'm asking. I don't expect either of you to know that, but Logan, maybe you could do a quick Google search. How has there been acknowledgement that without a shift, the StatCast data is less reliable this year specifically? Because I feel like it is. It has to be.
Well, because the sample size is everything's different with the
because it's using like basically the last 7 years of data. StatCast, right. The StatCast era is 2015 through last year. Yeah, that had the shift. So when it's using expected numbers, it's using that 7 years of data, in which case the shift existed and now the shift doesn't exist. So
based upon the data with the shift in place, that's why the expected batting average is very similar, but in fact,
potentially
it's not. So
potentially
there's a lot more, whether it's ground balls that are finding their way through the infield or, balls to the right side that normally would have been caught by a shifted infielder to the right side or not.
Yeah, that's interesting. It just literally
sounds like to me.
Just literally dawned on me that could be the reason for the expected numbers looking the same, but the actual numbers not being the same. But the expected numbers might be bogus this year because of that.
And I don't even know how you adjust that. If you're looking at historical numbers in some of these advanced stats and they rely on defensive alignment or defensive metrics that have a play. If you're looking at the averages and going across the league, then a lot of those numbers are going to be very different because of a ball hit to the right side with the shift and without the shift. There's no longer a third defender there, whereas before there was. So it's very. I don't know how there's a lot of those data points that are probably not going to be great to look at historicals and give you some more context to them because of the shift. You almost have to go before that, and that doesn't even.
You can't.
A thing.
Yeah, you can't. So and so the numbers are becoming less confusing now that we're talking our way through it. 2022, he had a 427 slugging percentage allowed on his sweeper. This year, it's 800. That's a huge difference.
That's a huge difference.
And that's what he's getting beat on. It's that pitch. And then it's his command as the game wears on. So he spoke to reporters after the game. I don't think it was a press conference, but it was just speaking to reporters. So I took down some notes on some of the questions he was asked. And also Boone and Higgy both acknowledged that Cortes hit a wall in the 5th inning and that it was specifically with his command. And then Cortes said, seems like that's been the story of my season this year. Kind of in the 5th inning on, lose some command, then starting to search and giving up that big hit. That's happened a couple times already. Got to fix that. Then Nestor was asked if he had any restrictions or feeling the effects of the hamstring strain. He said, I got to be honest, I have no restrictions. I don't feel any pain anywhere. It's just a matter of commanding the ball when I need to the most. He was asked if the pitch clock was causing some extra fatigue. He said, it's hard to say. I work pretty fast. It's not like I feel my body taking a left turn there at the end. It's just a matter of making pitches at the time in the crucial moment. Could be a mix of things. Could be the third time through the lineup. It could be running out of gas. Command hasn't been great. If I'm able to command the ball a little bit better, things could be different. A lot of the stuff we were talking about at the end of last episode, but one thing that I really think was a great point by you is that the pitch clock could be affecting him in a different way in the fact that the league is now adjusting to pitchers working at a faster pace, and that's not unique to Nestor anymore.
No, it's not. Right. And when you mix in all of the things that he's talking about, because obviously the guy's talking about how he feels and what's being executed and what's supposed to be executed. And those are not the same. They are, he's missing spots. He's missing, whereas last year he was not. But yeah, you combine all those things, a guy just not having the control as much. And then batters just like that extra little tick that are geared up for a guy that works fast. Like, it sounds really dumb. Honestly, it sounds like an excuse when I say it out loud, but I do think that it can be a real thing for guys just being that much more ready for a pitch earlier in the at bat, like as they're standing up there. There is something to that where I think that Nestor made them feel uncomfortable because they were being rushed, and now everybody makes them feel uncomfortable because they have to rush and they're just used to it.
Him not being the level he was is a little understandable, but him not pitching like a really, really solid middle of the rotation pitcher is a big hit for this team because they were relying on that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think everybody was always waiting for Nestor to come back to earth to not be that guy because he's Nestor Cortes. He's the everyman. It's like you don't see the big things you normally see from a power pitcher or a lot of pitchers in today's game. He's a true pitcher. He throws, he deceives, he does a lot of the good things. And I think a lot of people were waiting for him for the other shoe to drop and for something the pumpkin or the cart to turn back into a pumpkin for him. And I hope that's not the case. I hope that he's just off mechanically. And again, like he may feel great. And I don't remember if we said this last time, but the hamstring could have, taken him onto a different path for getting ready for the season, something that was rushed potentially, something that absolutely can tweak mechanics. But with him, it's like his mechanics, yes, they need to be on point, but he adjusts them so many times in the way that he delivers the ball. It's not like he has the same repeatable mechanics over and over again. Yeah, so maybe he needs to get back to some fancy shit.
Yeah, Logan pointed this out before we started recording. The extra, hitch in his windup and stuff like that has been fewer and farther between. I feel like it was definitely more common last year and then especially in 2021. Yeah, Logan?
So just continuing to probably do these numbers as we've been doing. I know we talked about the shift and that having an impact, which I think it definitely does to some regard. But league average for ground ball percentage is 44.8% for a pitcher. So last year he was below average at 34.2%. This year, he's basically getting no ground balls. He's getting 22.8% ground ball percentage.
So the shift shouldn't
that's
impact it as much.
So the shift, well, what that's saying is he's getting many more fly balls, and he's getting pulled upon much, much more. They're not going the other way. They're pulling the ball. So it almost like he's not lost velocity. He's not lost spin rate. Like I've looked at all those, but it's almost like it like he's a little bit off on his fastball, where maybe he's not getting the fastball above the belt as much like he was doing last year, and he's just dropping it a little bit. They're able to get under it a ton. Like his under percentage on Baseball Savant is 43.9. That's like 20%
What's the launch?
higher.
So the launch angle, that's
20 points higher than it was. They're making contact
league
under
average.
Oh, okay. Does it say what he was in the last few years for that stat? I didn't know that stat existed. That's interesting.
So in 2022 is 36.7%. So that's about 8% higher than people are getting under. And you asked about launch angle, you said?
Yeah, I'm wondering if the launch angle that he's giving up, it's got to be higher because he's giving up fewer ground balls.
Average launch angle.
And that could be an adjustment with that sounds like a league adjustment, to be honest. That sounds like a league adjustment saying that there's areas to exploit Nestor Cortes on the offensive side by trying to hit fly balls and try like stop hitting, make the adjustment at the plate to launch, to lift the ball rather than hit it on the ground. That sounds like an adjustment on the offensive side, honestly.
Yeah, and specifically on his sweeper, as they call it, because apparently he never threw a slider, according to this. So ridiculous.
No,
last year the average launch angle on his sweeper was 21%. This year it's 40%. So they're just
40 degrees. You mean
40 degrees? Rather,
yeah.
Sorry.
So
popping that pitching wedge right down the line.
And exit velocity higher. I'm assuming hard hit percentage up. Like
his hard hit percentage really isn't though. That's the weird thing.
That does make sense. If batters are adjusting how they're approaching that slider and they're trying to get lift, it doesn't necessarily mean they're hitting it harder. They're just not hitting it on the ground.
Yeah, his sweeper actually isn't getting hit harder like at all. It's exactly the same.
Well, that was
getting a little harder.
One of the beautiful things about Nestor Cortes we always talked about is the amount of soft contact he gave up, which
right.
is why even though he gave up a lot of fly balls, it didn't matter. It's you hit a fly ball 280 feet, you're not going to get beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What level of concern are you for him?
I don't know. You asked me these percentages and I make something up. The percentage of level of concern. I'm not overly concerned yet. Like I feel like Nestor has still given me enough where I've seen him make adjustments and I expected him to make another adjustment. I think he's a savvy guy. I think he clearly understands what's happening here and needs to fix it. But I'm confident that he's gonna get out there and fix it.
So level of concern from like on holiday, so Thanksgiving, the best holiday. It's like all you do, eat, drink, watch football, no stress. To Mother's Day, the worst thing, impacts you zero, and you got to deal with all the stress. You're at like a New Year's Day.
This analogy is I'm at like a.
You're New Year's Day. You stayed up a little too late last night. Not feeling the best. Well, you don't have any plans today.
Little Sunday scaries.
Little Sunday scaries. Yeah,
but just knowing that it's just a normal feeling and that tomorrow's probably going to be fine.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? He's a pro. He's a pro. I feel like Nestor's a pro. He got here for a reason. He didn't get here because he could throw 98 miles an hour. He got here because he could pitch.
I guess maybe I'm a little bit more worried than you that just like the league has definitely figured him out. And even if I have confidence he can make an adjustment, what if it doesn't happen for a while? Like what if it takes
it will hurt the team. What you said first, I think, is the most important piece here is that the Yankees need him and they're relying on him to be a solid guy in this rotation. And if he's not able to clean that up, it's a problem for the way that this team operates and the way that this team is laid out. So the one I will say that the concern after that whole conversation, after we kind of talked through it and dissected it, which I appreciate, this is great. The fact that there's more launch on his balls, it sounds like that's an offensive approach that's not consistent with just one team. It sounds like that's a new approach to Nestor Cortes through the league so far. So it does sound like now they do need to make some kind of adjustment to get back to him, being able to get those ground balls.
Yeah, and it was such a great comeback. The Yankees came back from 6-0 in the fifth inning. They got the 2-run homers by Judge and Higgy in the fifth. Volpe bunt single, and then stole second and third. How many times this year? Is that the third time he's stolen second, then third? I think that's the the third time he's done that so far this year.
It's got to be, yeah. He's done it a few times. I don't know exactly how many times, but the fact that that kid got on with a bunt single and then just, swiped all the bags and advances, I fucking love it. Like, I love that so much more than any other power guy coming in and hitting bombs. Like, give me the kid that grinds it out, gets on base with whatever he sees in front of him, and then just takes advantage. I love that type of baseball so much.
Can we start dubbing that the Volpe? You get on with like an infield single, a bunt single, you steal 2 bags and score on a wild pitch. It's just little league shit.
It's great. It's all hustle. It's all hustle, all heart. Like, the intangible. It's like the intangibles way to score a run. It's amazing.
Yeah, literally just created a run out of thin air.
Yeah, no, yeah, with a bunt. It's amazing.
Yeah, really, really fun to watch. Him and Bader this year have been so fun to watch. Like Bader's diving catch, even though it didn't matter, the Yankees still lost the game and all those runs scored. His diving catch on the warning track today, it's just like
hell of a catch. I mean, my God,
so awesome to see. Just I don't know, it's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, there's a youthful exuberance with those two, and it's great. It is.
Quickly though, on the bullpen on Saturday, really, really solid. Holmes ended up pitching the leverage spot, came in the 7th and pitched the 8th. He did give up the 3 hits, but he didn't walk anybody and he struck out 3. So he pitched around it. And then Wandy Peralta closed out the game. So it's been pretty consistent where Holmes has been used as that leverage spot guy, if it's the 7th inning or 8th inning.
Yeah. I mean, I know he struck out, giving up 3 hits. And like, I guess it
was an inning and 2/3.
I know, but when you're seeing him giving up hits, he's been pitching well. I'm not gonna say much. I would like to see him be a bit more clean. I'm just wondering if we're ever going to be able to see that guy with that power sinker that's coming in and just no one has a chance. He's not that guy right now, and I don't know if we're going to get that back. If that was an anomaly, if he just hit like a really hot streak and that was that, or
I think that's common with most relief pitchers, is that you go through this untouchable stretch where you look like vintage Mariano Rivera. That's how dominant you are for a 6-month stretch or a 4-month stretch or whatever.
It's really hard to do that for 6 months though. That's a long
stretch.
Not
6 months. He didn't do it for 6 months. He did it for 3 months. He did it for the first half of last year. He was not that guy in the second half of last year.
That's true.
But I feel like we've seen that with so many relief pitchers around baseball. Is you have a stretch where you're the greatest thing, and then you come back down and you're good. You're solid. You're really good, but you're not that pitcher again where every single time out it was power sinker, strikeout, or little tapper to the shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the bright side about this is that, him coming in a leverage situation, even giving up some contact and giving up hits, Wandy Peralta, man, Wandy Peralta is one of these guys that, is nails. He's nails, like the ultimate competitor. And I think that Boone does feel fine going to him at any moment in the game, whether it's closing a game, him coming in at a high leverage spot early in a game to, get out a tough lefty. He's still got that change up even that goes against righties so well. He really is he's a massive part of this bullpen. And I think that we're going to see him in high leverage situations to continue as the season goes on, because there's no true guy right now that can take that spot. There's just not.
I'm actually okay with it though.
I'm fine with it too.
Okay with it, but I feel like between King, Peralta, and Holmes, you almost have to play it like they are.
And I agree. I don't need you to name a closer for me. I don't need that. I would rather play the matchup game. Granted, that's like putting a lot on Boone, and I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in that.
It is,
so
but
him,
it isn't,
him making more decisions is.
But
not,
I feel like these matchups are predetermined. It's like he's got his lanes, right? If the top of the order is coming up and there's 4 right-handed hitters, he knows he's going to Clay Holmes in that spot if it's a close game. And if there's left-handed coming up 6, 7, 8, he knows he's going to Wandy Peralta. Like, these matchups he's not figuring these matchups on the fly. These are all predetermined, and it's just a matter of who's coming up next inning.
It also goes back to, if you go back to that, the Domingo Germán start where Marinaccio came in with one out remaining. It was 2 outs, right? So Logan, this goes back to your point that Boone likes to do this, is to bring in a guy to finish the inning so that he can come in during the next inning and he doesn't have to throw to 3 batters for him to make a pitching change if need be. It's like he tries to fit that in just so he's got the flexibility in the next inning. And Boone is, I swear to God, he's getting known for this shit where he's looking to the next inning before finishing what's in front of him. He does that consistently. He does that a lot. And
well, they love their bullpen bingo card, right? With like the number of pitches that this guy threw, and he loves to manage it so that they can have 2 on, 1 off. And this is their philosophy. This is how they're going to manage it.
Yeah, it is.
You said that with such disdain and sadness in your voice.
It's just
accepting it. You got to accept it, right?
Well, I mean, when you're watching a team play every day and you're watching the tendencies of a manager, like they're going to have them, right? So whether you agree with them or not, it is what it is. But this is it. We've seen it enough times where this is what he does. He wants to have that leverage, and he wants to have the opportunity for flexibility in the next inning so that the rule doesn't bite him in the ass and he's got to face a guy that maybe doesn't have it. But I just don't like that mentality. I don't like that mentality for you to gain flexibility in the next inning. And potentially, because maybe it's not the greatest scenario. I don't know. If that rule is not a thing, does Germán stay in the game? Is Germán out of that game because of that rule? Or is it because he actually believes that Marinaccio has a better opportunity to get that guy out? I don't know.
I think
but he always goes to the thing. It's like the binder a little bit, to be honest. It's like like you said, predetermined, situational, and this is what's going to happen no matter what's in front of me. And that's the shit that drives me a little nuts. Is like, I just want you to use your eyes. And I'm not saying that Germán situation wasn't I'm just talking in generalities here and using that as an example. If he said that with his eyes and understood that the numbers were there too, and leveraging both, Germán doesn't look good. He looks gassed. Marinaccio, I feel confident, and it gives me the flexibility for the next inning. Fine. Okay. But if it's only the reason, then that's where I start,
right. What I think you're saying is that when it could potentially be a detriment in the current inning you're playing, then it's bad. And sometimes it feels like they're prioritizing the flexibility and the matchups next inning than what is in front of their face. And it's the batter at the plate and the pitcher on the mound.
Right. Which is the existing current high leverage situation. And again, just making sure that we're in a moment and taking care of that moment. And this is just a precursor and practice for postseason baseball. That's what this is. Because if you have that mentality in the postseason baseball and you're looking ahead, it's bit him in the ass in the past, then you're not going to win series in the playoffs if you're not taking what's in front of you and addressing that, because you will get snake bit. You've
essentially played 7 playoff games against Tampa in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah. We're going to get to some injury updates. Before we do, though, got to tell you guys about Athletic Greens. AG1 is so much more than a greens powder. It's all your key health products in one single drink. I cannot stress how convenient it is. You just do 1 scoop and 8 or 12 ounces of water, and you are good to go. AG1 is loaded with 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, probiotics, and adaptogens. Gives you many, many benefits like pre- and probiotics, better sleep quality and recovery. And it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals or artificial flavoring. It's also affordable. It's less than $3 per serving. It's a monthly subscription. You don't have to worry about it. You set it and forget it, and it shows up at your door every 30 days. It's so easy to build into your daily routine. You got to drink that water anyway. Just throw a scoop of Athletic Greens AG1 in there. And, I think you're actually going to be pleasantly surprised at the taste as well. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews and is trusted by athletes and health experts around the world. You can try it for yourself. Go to athleticgreens.com/pinstripes for a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs. And, quickly, I think shout out to Athletic Greens. Are they the longest running sponsor on our show? Like pretty much consistent. It's been like 9 months now. I mean, we've had sponsors.
While,
yeah. Like they've been with us for a while, and we definitely appreciate that. So if you guys are out there and you have not tried Athletic Greens yet, please go athleticgreens.com/pinstripes. Supports me and Scott and Logan and Ilya and the Bronx Pinstripes show in a big way. Anything before we get to the injury updates on the rest of the series?
No, I think we covered all of my Festivus moments.
How about we talk about the event coming up? It's going to be here before you know it.
It's coming up very quickly. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is the first time Kemp's been able to get back into Yankee Stadium, actually, since this will be his second game in there, which is crazy. So
Does
I'm
he
excited
remember the first one?
No, but he's got the certificate. Shout out to Sinelli for hooking up that certificate.
Nice.
for him. It was that will be there forever. The first game certificate signed by the Yankees, which I think is very cool.
Did they win?
Oh shit!
Doesn't the certificate say?
No, I don't think it has
the result.
No, because we got it during the game.
Okay.
It doesn't have it was a Labor Day game. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, he's looking forward to it big. He's very, very, very fired up to go to Yankee Stadium again. He's just starting to get into baseball and actually watch it with me a little bit. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see everybody. I know there's a bunch of people that have come in the past that are going to be coming out. I got some family coming. I know Logan is going to be out there with his family. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Come make sure you get your ticket. Getting the heart T-shirt, which is pretty simple design. It's got heart with some pinstripes, but something that's very good because we're raising money for the Ethan Lindbergh Foundation and going to be donating all the proceeds for this event to that charity. So it's good stuff.
I think Harrison's still too young for a game. He's only 2. I just think the attention span is about 9 minutes max. And it's just, that's not enjoyable for anyone. So maybe next summer.
Kemp will be not much further. You gotta string it along with food and just like little things. I will tell you this: we will not be visiting the playground in the outfield at Yankee Stadium. I can tell you.
Where's the playground? I don't even know.
It's somewhere out there, isn't it? Didn't they build something out there? There was something. I saw this in a. I thought they had something out. Maybe it was outside the stadium. I'm thinking of.
Well, they've got the playground across the street. The one you pissed on.
I did not piss on a playground. I did not piss on a playground. I pissed on a bathroom. Okay. I pissed on a bathroom.
On a bath. The door was locked. It's their fault.
Yeah.
All right. Carlos Rodon. Boone said that they plan on ramping up his throwing distances this week, and that'll be a barometer for how they can progress. He said, if he does not feel pain, he can begin rehabbing soon. And I said, but I thought he never felt pain in the back.
Yeah. So
this is a mess. This is a mess. This is a goddamn mess.
Let's just not mince words here. Pain, uncomfortable. It feels something. I feel it. It's weird. I don't know. It's a feeling. It's something there. Obviously, there was a pain. There was something that bothered him while he was throwing, and they gave him a cortisone shot to help whatever the F it was, and now he's going to throw. Call it whatever it is. It was a pain in the back.
He's pain in the back. All right. Sevy is rehabbing again with Somerset on Tuesday, and he could return next Sunday against Cincinnati, and that's an 11:35 Peacock game in Cincinnati next week. That'd be huge to get Severino back potentially next Sunday.
That would be huge, and especially with some of these guys struggling, like him coming back and actually being an effective pitcher is so big for this team. It really is. You look at what the depth is right now in the starting pitching with Rodon. Who the hell knows what's with him coming back here? If Severino can't come back and be healthy and be a contributor, this team is in big trouble on the starting pitching front.
Especially because of everything we just talked through with Nestor Cortes. Yeah, for sure. All right, huge 4-game series in Toronto. Toronto swept Atlanta this weekend, so they're 2 games up now on the Yankees in the standings. Looks like it's going to be Brito versus Manoah, and then Herman versus Gossman, Cole versus Bassett, like we said, and then Cortez versus Barrios. Clark Schmidt not going to be facing the Blue Jays. Whether it's Clark Schmidt missing or Johnny Brito missing, like whatever, I guess good, but tough little stretch here.
And I got to ask you a question here about this playground thing, because now I'm looking it up. I'm questioning what I'm looking at. There's a Stella Artois landing spot. This is left field, which I'm not in left field very often. And it's one of these social gathering spots, and there was like a playground out there. No, there's a kids clubhouse. Oh, here it is, kids clubhouse.
Yeah, I sent it in the chat. There's 300 level in.
Okay, so it is there. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, never knew that existed.
But you
can't. I remember seeing the renderings of it when they did these expanded social, and I don't think I've ever seen it. I've never been over there to see it, but yeah, there is one. I wasn't crazy.
It's on the 300 level, so it's the terrace level of the upper deck. Yeah, I don't think I've ever even been up there. Oh, it's behind. It's literally behind. It's outside. Google images it. You'll see. It's behind.
Google images it.
You can see.
Hey, Google,
it's outside.
Just Google images that thing over there.
Remember reverse Google image search?
Yeah, I do. Now, it's located on the 300 level in right
Outside.
field.
It's right
Outfit
field.
a playground, including No.
You just said right field.
Oh, I did. Parents can enjoy their oversee them from what the hell is happening here? Yeah, I don't know where the hell this thing is. We're not going to it. Bottom line, we're not going to it. Wherever it is, we will not be going to it.
Something tells me when it's the top of the second inning and he's already had his food and he's seen the game and he's had his glove on, you're going to be going.
Nah, not happening.
Nah. All right. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. Thanks again to Shady Rays and Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's episode. We'll be back at you again. I guess it's a 4-game series, so potentially record Friday morning is probably going to be the deal. And, maybe one of these weeks we'll do a midweek episode like we said we would and haven't done yet. Talk to you then.